Calling the special board meeting of the Ross Valley Sanitary District for July 25th, 2005 to order. And may I have a roll call, please?
Director Meggs? Here. Director Silla? Here. Director Kelly?
Here.
Director Gaffney?
Here.
Director Borstein?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda. Second.
Okay, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so approved. Public comment, anyone wishing to address the board of directors on matters within the district's jurisdiction, but not on the posted agenda, may do so. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. The board may not take action or discuss items not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements or questions by a member of the public. The board president may refer any matter to staff for further follow-up or elect to have the matter placed on agenda for a future meeting. Is there anybody online? And there is nobody here who wishes? Okay. I'm going to move on to number 4. Consideration of authorizing the general manager upon review and approval of council to execute amendment number 2 for the contract for real estate services with Century Urban not to exceed $178,505 and consider adopting resolution 25-1673 authorizing the budget amendment 2601 for the fiscal year 25-26. And this was continued from the July 6th meeting. Steve?
Yes, thank you, President Kelly and board members. Pleased to now introduce this item number 4 on the subject of real estate services. We have with us Bryant Sparkman from Century Urban joining us. I have to acknowledge that he's the proud father of a young baby boy this last week. And so that's
Good for you.
I think
Congratulations.
that's part of the reason we wanted to continue the items to give him
What is
some
his
room.
name?
What is it? Steel?
Deal. Yeah, right, very good.
How do you
So-
spell that? Okay.
It's often a surname, right? Yeah. Very good. Well, congratulations. And so briefly, I'll just introduce the item. We've had a contractual relationship with Century Urban for some time. We engaged with them originally after we completed the cleanup of the Larkspur Landing property. And they've been advising staff and the board on the process of disposing of Larkspur Landing as surplus property. And it's been a good partnership for several years, working on some community outreach and working with the city of Larkspur general plan process, providing technical input to that process that was very important and timely. And so there were a number of items that we've worked together on, including most recently in May, you saw a draft request for qualifications for going out to interested developers for the Larkspur Landing property. And that process is about ready to launch. So I want to just introduce the item. This would be the second proposed amendment to the contract in an amount that exceeded the budgeted amount for this year. And so that's why we have a resolution seeking authorization of an additional about $100,000 for the budget for this contract amendment. It's related principally to hourly billings that will be associated with managing the request for qualifications process for interested developers, and then a subsequent request for proposals process. Engaging the elements of Century Urban's team. So it's not just their company, but the group of companies, and bringing them in for their different expertise on the property disposition process. So the proposals here before you, staff's reviewed it and gone over some of the details. We did speak to the issues, some questions that came up in the finance committee, which finance committee members may recall and I welcome discussion on those questions. But in essence, if the hourly billing budget starts to run out, then the commission on a future sale or ground lease arrangement for the property would help fund additional work that Century Urban team may need to perform at a later time. And so that's kind of the upshot of that distinction. So that's my introduction. And then Brian's here to offer any other additional comments. I welcome you to speak to the issue now or otherwise entertain questions.
Do you want to come up and do you have anything you want to tell us?
Yeah, I will too. Is this on?
I think so.
Okay, testing. Okay, great. Bring this down, not quite tall enough for this one. First and foremost, I just want to say this has been a really, really wonderful, I guess, almost 5 years now on this journey. I just want to acknowledge the leadership from both GM Moore, Assistant GM Newhouse, and this board, because it's the exact same board when we joined. And so we've been on this journey. We've had the housing element update, the general plan update. We've gone through the Surplus Lands Act. We're adhering to it. And now we're at this really exciting moment of time where we're going to launch the RFQ and then the P and the marketing thereon. So it's a really exciting time. We're really pleased to be where we're at. The good news is the market has seen some improvement. We do have a fair amount of developer interest in the project. There is a lot of work to do to bring on a like-minded developer, to narrow it down to a pool of developers for the RFP, and then ultimately to negotiate the transaction documents. So lots to do here. This is an exciting time, and we've really valued and enjoyed this partnership with Ross Valley Sanitary District. If there's questions on the amendment, I'm happy to address any and all questions. We did have some revisions with GM Moore and Assistant GM Newhouse to kind of refine it and make sure it kind of made sense, I think, based on those subcommittee comments. But happy to address any and all questions. One of the things we're planning to do is to add up with Steve and Felicia in the next week or so to really map out with finality the launch date, the timing, the plan, the coordination, and how we're going to go about this internally. Because it's not just me at Century Urban. We have around a team of 5 people that are going to be working on this. It's going to be a full court press, but really exciting, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Mary, questions? Pam, do you have any questions?
No, I would like to hear what the finance committee asked about though. They're so good.
When Century Urban determines a pool of eligible developers who might be appropriate, at what point does that come back to the board? And what will we see? How many developers could you imagine we might be looking at? When does the board need to determine sale, leaseback, all of that information?
Yeah, good question. Good questions. So
Questions.
I'll try to answer them as best I can. So we're going to be sending out the RFQ kind of personally to over 100 different owner operators and developers.
Really?
Some of these are local, some of these are national, some of these are international. And so there's going to be a very coordinated effort to kind of reach out to them to make sure they understand the offering. That process is going to play out. I do anticipate a number of very interested parties who will submit to the RFQ their capabilities and qualifications. Once that comes in, that could be anywhere from 15 to 30 participants or somewhere in between. We really don't know. Once that comes in, we're going to kind of summarize the pool of candidates, sit down with senior management, make sure they understand the candidates who are here, and then ultimately come up with a scoring system and ranking for staff to really score and evaluate, say, the top 5 participants. The top 5 participants would likely, and it could be 4, it could be more than 5. It really depends on staff's desire. We would then release an RFP, the request for proposals, which is more of the kind of nitty gritty of the document. Is it a ground lease? Is it a fee simple interest? Our thinking today is it's a fee simple interest sale, but we've left the door open for a potential ground lease transaction should that make sense for the district. Thereafter, we review those terms, sit down with senior staff, and all of this along the way, I presume for the RFQ, there's a presentation to the board. The board then has its say and approval and questions. And then ultimately we, through the GM, have direction to prosecute the RFP. So I view this as a multi-step process where we're going to be coming back to the board with updates, some maybe informational, some maybe requests for approvals, and I'll defer to GM more.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. We've spoken to this a bit, so I was just sort of remind what we've talked about in May. That yes, when we get the results of the RFQ, when we get the submittals, we'll review them at a staff level, but we'll present our recommendation to the board of the short list of candidates and your approval of going with an RFP. So you will hear back from us.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, that we're not going to be choosing developers here because it's
yeah.
not our thing. That's why we hired you.
True, but you can think of it. I think of it as the analogy is we present to you the results of bidding on projects, so you see who bid and what their bids were, and we have a recommendation, but ultimately it's your decision.
Okay. You haven't sent out the RFQ yet? I thought that was going out when we talked about it a while back.
Yeah,
Or has it gone out?
So the plan is we finalized the RFQ. We hired a professional photographer to take drone photographs and still photography in addition to Marin Country Mart, which is the adjacent retail center. So that RFQ is now final. Our plan is to have a call with Steve and Felicia next week to really further, specifically map out, but the goal is to have it out this month as soon as possible.
And do we get a copy of that
I think it'll be on our website.
on the website?
So you'll
Okay,
be able
that's
to,
good.
we have a web page, under open government. It's called Larkspur Landing Property Information. And so the latest information on the property is always at the top of the page. So that
Okay.
RFQ will be right at the top.
And then you haven't had that walkthrough yet. You were telling us you were going to do a walkthrough as part of the RFQ process?
Yeah, one of the things we're going to do is an informational session with the RFQ where we're going to present the project, what it consists of. We'll likely have a Q&A process. We're also going to probably have a site visit. So those who would like to attend can come out and actually walk the physical plant that's there today, which is land.
Okay.
So we have not done that yet, but that's going to be one of the steps that we're going to perform.
Can board attend that? As long as we keep quiet.
Yeah, I think,
What do you think?
I'll defer to staff here, but
Staff defers to the board.
Cool.
Yes. Any other questions?
No, but Mary asked what the. finance-
Right. What did the finance committee ask?
It wasn't
What is the what?
anything except, what we asked was, when we make an amendment like this, we'd like to see how much we've paid so far.
I see.
And then, that's it.
This may sound hokey, but thousands and thousands of people drive through there every day. And rather than doing just your only RFP and getting the usual suspects, why not put a big fat sign out there? For sale, contact Century Urban. You never know. You might attract some people that you wouldn't have attracted before.
Are we for sure it's for sale?
For sale or lease.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would ask the professionals what
Yeah,
they think.
I'm just a suggestion. If you think it's hokey and unnecessary, don't do it. But
well, let's give it some consideration. Let me.
Why don't you give it some consideration?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
give it some consideration for
Okay.
sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
it might attract more people to
Yeah, you
filter
might-
out. It occurs to me, but I'll
Argument.
defer to you guys to do. You're the experts.
That's what we avoided by making it a,
RFQ.
but by making it, we restricted the, what am I trying to say here? It's a restricted sale, more restricted.
Oh, the exempt surplus land.
Exempt surplus,
Yeah, right.
Making it exempt. We didn't want 500 negotiations going on.
All right, I'll leave it to you. Just a suggestion.
Exempt, yeah, okay, thank
You know what you're doing.
Great.
Okay. I hope you know what you're doing. Doing it for a long time. Can I have a motion?
Wait,
I'm sorry,
Take a
Pam?
question for Pam.
you. Microphone, please.
When you list this RFQ,
What does that include? Just the basics? Does it include the price? Does it include there's a appraisal that's been, I mean, what kind of information would we see? So I don't get
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah, and we're happy through staff to share with you the RFQ so you can see it at your leisure and review it. But basically, it provides a lot of details on the site, background information, what the general plan consisted of, what the zoning is, the objective design and development standards. It's more of an information document. Then it also requests various capabilities and qualifications on behalf of the various developers who may want to buy it and develop it. So I would describe it as a high level document, but with a lot of substance as to what's there today. And then also the information we're asking of the developers so we can actually evaluate their financial wherewithal, their past development experience, and projects they've specifically worked on. So that's kind of the substance of the RFQ.
Okay, so no price.
There's no price.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not like a building sale where you set a price and then have people bid against it.
No, you're asking for bids. Yeah.
But you actually they haven't figured out what they're going to do yet.
Right.
So
Yeah,
can't
it's
really
a
set a
two-step
price.
process, which is very common for public agencies,
Yeah.
where you solicit qualifications from third-party developers. We then have an opportunity to deliberate on those qualifications and select a small pool of individual firms to move forward with the RFP. And the P is the proposal, and that's where you start to really provide guidance on the terms, which ultimately leads to price and timing.
Yeah, one reminder is that actually, or the May board agenda, you can refer to as the draft RFQ. So kind of remind you of what that structure looks like. And the current draft isn't very different. It just has some nicer pictures and a little more, detail thought through. But it also includes the criteria by which the qualification submittals will be judged, by our team internally, so it gives the respondents an idea of what they should shoot for in their submittals to be judged as one of the shortlist groups that we would then invite to participate in the request for proposals.
Okay.
Thank
I want to say
you.
for years, local commercial real estate people have been contacting us as board members. I mean, when I was president, like probably 10 or 12 years ago, and real estate attorneys like Len Rifkind, who's also local elected. So I guess I wonder, I assume there's some repository like the MLS where people could become aware of this, who would be watching out for it, not an MLS necessarily, but
Yeah, a little different this process from like MLS, multiple listing service, when you're selling a home. In this case, it's publicly broadcast through almost every various developer will have an email from us. What we're trying to do is focus it to people who can really perform and develop, as opposed to individuals who might just be kicking tires. But it will be publicly broadcasted. It will be on the website. Depending on our approach, there may be an article in the San Francisco Chronicle further publicizing this.
great. That's
San Francisco Chronicle is something I'd like to talk to GM Moore, Assistant GM Newhouse about.
Not the local page.
There's a much broader reach with the San Francisco Chronicle than the Marin IJ. Marin IJ is a great paper. It just doesn't get a lot of circulation outside of Marin County.
Only 10% of the residents of Marin have a subscription. No, it doesn't like you. Okay. Any other comments, questions?
we might as well find out how much. I don't know if you remember exactly. We started the original contract, then we did an amendment. Now we're doing this one. About how much what was the magnitude of those about?
I'm sorry, Director Gaffney, would you please repeat the question?
In other words, we had the first contract. How much was that? The first amendment, and then the second amendment.
I don't have it
what was the
broken down
dollar?
by contract amendments, but I can tell you over the course of 5 years, the district spent approximately $60,000 per year.
Okay.
So that would be a $300,000 total.
300,000. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Anything else? Do I have a motion?
Sure. I will authorize I move that we authorize the general manager upon review and approval of council to execute amendment number 2 to the contract for real estate services with Century Urban in an amount not to exceed $178,505 and adopt resolution number 25-1673, authorizing the budget amendment 2601 to the fiscal year 2025/26 budget to increase appropriations by $103,505.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, it carries. Thank you very much. And thank you.
Thank
And
you.
God bless you for your kids.
Tried to get some
Thank
sleep.
you.
Okay.
Good name for a linebacker.
All right. Item number 5 is to conduct a public hearing in consideration of adoption of Resolution 25-1674, approving the report of sewer service charges for fiscal year 25-26 and directing the filing charges for collections by the county tax collector. Steve, can you give us a little background on this?
Yes, this is an annual requirement. Even though a year ago we did a 5-year Prop 218 process, which sets
Each year.
set the 5-year schedule for sewer service charges. Health and Safety Code requires Section 5471 does require us to publish the annual sewer service charges and provide opportunity for public input. And so Felicia's been managing this, and I don't know if there's any additional information that you want to provide the board as far as this this annual procedure.
Yes, I'd be happy to. Thank you. So the district collects its sewer service charges on the tax rolls. So this resolution allows the general manager to submit the sewer service charges to the county tax assessor, who will then place the annual service charges on the individual property tax. And we're also required to notice this publicly as a public hearing, as Jim were just mentioned, and it also is published in our local Marin IJ
good.
twice and in advance of the public hearing. Which is, you're right, a very good paper. For 10% of the public, right, exactly. And NBS performs the annual report, runs the annual report for us. It's made available to the public in advance of this meeting. It's published as part of the packet electronically because it's several hundred pages long. There is a printout of it at our front desk, though, available also for people who want to walk in and take a look at it. NBS also provides a summary of the sewer service charges. District-wide is attachment A to the staff report. Attachment B is specifically regarding the Canyon Road assessment. And then there's also a separate report on the lateral loans and the septic to sewer loans
98.
for the reading pleasure of our board and public. So, and with that, I am available to answer questions.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll now open the public hearing. And anybody on the public, online or in present, may come up and speak. If you're online, just unmute or raise your hand and the clerk will unmute. There's nobody online. There's nobody here. Okay. In that case, I'm going to close the public meeting and any additional discussion by the board.
About how much is the county going to charge us? What did they charge last year? Is it 60,000 or?
The administration fee from the
For
tax?
doing this, for collecting the charges
from the NBS or from the county?
from the county.
From the county. Victor?
I think it's $2 a bill for the first 6,000 and then it goes down. And it's really a bargain is what I
Yeah,
really wanna say.
60,000
We
sounds about
couldn't
right.
possibly do it for even
Yeah.
close to that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Do I have a motion?
I move that We adopt resolution 25-1674, approving the report of sewer service charges for fiscal year 25-26 and direct the filing of charges for collection by the county tax collector.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. The next meeting will be August 20th, 2025. Please note that I'll be attending remotely, and therefore I'd ask the next year's president to run the meeting.
Or the next, I think it goes to the highest officer remaining. Pamela.
Okay. Pamela, will you run the meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
nice, yeah.
Okay, very good. And I'll give you the address on that. Thank you very much, and we're adjourned.
20th?